Hi. Okay, I was sitting thinking about. I was watching right now a YouTube video, and the YouTube video is called by Ryan Florence, The Curse of React. So it's a video on Vercel, a YouTube video of Vercel. And while he was kind of like building his components and the structure that he wants to build, he just gave the class name of the CSS. He put it there. And as he was doing that, I kind of like started thinking that basically he's designing a drop-down menu. My bad. So I started thinking it from a drop-down menu I don't know why I started thinking about it differently because it gave it a class drop-down. So if you name something, and I've been trying to use Tailwind. I've been using Tailwind actually. I've been using Tailwind. Uh, I've been using Tailwind for a. Okay, so I've been using Tailwind, and sorry, man, I was just thinking about the difference between CSS and Tailwind CSS. With CSS, you have to create the classes. In a weird way, naming the classes actually personalizes the divs that you're interacting with and the classes you're interacting with. Just bear with me. So when you create the class that basically does something, and you find the component that kind of like takes it. That's a personal approach towards between components and and websites and apps and structures and databases. So I wrote about it once before. I wrote about like an actual vision of how I actually interact with the code. But something I wrote today was if you want a plan to succeed, give it life. And what I was thinking the way you would interact with your day in order to succeed with anything. Let's say if there's a runner, if there's a chemist, if there's a physicist, if there's a mathematician, if there's a makeup artist, like every single person who's doing something they want to do, they practically just do it and realize the things that they're doing wrong, and they learn and they learn what they're doing wrong, and they understand. So learning is only attributed to mistakes you literally can't learn from your successes. But your successes could be studied, designed, and structured. So it's just I kind of looked at learning from a different angle right now. For the past 3-4 days, I've been thinking about it. So I actually have to post this video. So anyways, so like CSS is basically the styling of the web. And there are multiple people that attempted to create it differently. So anyways, so created differently. There's Bootstrap, which basically like creates certain classes, and then you have to call the library I don't know where in order to get these classes. And the way it's designed is not very effective. Like the websites kind of freeze a bit. It's not directly, and for bigger websites, it's a bit heavier as well. Specifically because like the the design of classes and it's the transfer of how classes are done as you actually like go through the app, as in more and more files, folders, different pieces, services, everything kind of needs a certain design on the actual website for the customer to see it. So as they actually proceed and like other apps like create the entire component and it's fully designed. So it's basically like JavaScript and whatever it is that has as a design, and you just basically have to call the library. So we don't only have classes that we call now, we have classes and actual code that we grow now. So that's the evolution of like, if you want to build a website, you don't have to learn that much anymore. And there's the website you built from all the way scratch. Like you have to literally go through the like mundane languages and go through JavaScript. But as your website gets bigger, you have to reorganize and design it. So other software have developed their way, and some software on top of software, and all that good, beautiful parts. What I use is a very much unhinged. It's like, you know, if everything was a class, and CSS basically cascades, it connects everything. So I can give something 5, 10 classes of just this much distance, this color, this font. These are basically classes. Then we can actually combine them together every single time when we start with a design, and they would bundle up into the end result. So it was a more technical approach. And I love it because it's built on top of the original. But like, I think right now I realized like that approach is easier to work with. But when you have to become creative, you really have to think of the entire feature as its own kind of like extracted like class. And you have to think of the behavior it does and the activity it does and how it moves back and forth from whatever it was to whatever it is. But again, like the styling, the designing is what personalizes it. So the way it actually expands, that's how you deduce that the way the actual styling changes in the process of building something is what you have to understand in the smaller pieces of these activities, like the bigger one, which is basically everything has to be one same background color. Or to the small ones, like these ones open up fast and then close within 5-10 seconds. Like there are features that are like completely ridiculous, but ultimately, while watching this video right now, they became a bit more personalized from if every single thing has its own kind of like sets of features that are shared with everyone. It made me realize, and again, like, because probably I wrote about this earlier, I wrote about like, if you want an idea to actually, if you want an idea to succeed / survive, you have to give it life. And that's how I was thinking of life. I was thinking about the whole process of trial, and it's not the trial and error. You know, if you think of things from an activity standpoint, you're not the one doing the activity, but like, you know, for your idea to survive, it kind of has to, let's just say, a business idea, right? Business idea. We can go for personal ideas, but let's just say business idea. So if your business idea was to survive, you kind of have to look at, okay, so you have to consider the things that need to be done and not need to be done as a life and death situation. And if you think about it that way and you design it more from a conceptual perspective, like, you know, you're nursing a small cow, what are the things that the cow needs? Granted, it needs to eat and it needs shelter, right? But sometimes it needs proper grooming. Sometimes it needs cleaning of, like, actually taking care of something. And so if you have an idea of life, right? Like if you, I would imagine trees. I'm more of that kind of person because for some reason, I believe bundling them could actually grow in a better harmony. Because like you can plant separate trees in a space, and you can plant separate shrubs and separate vines, and eventually all of them kind of like start symbiotically like interacting with each other, where you don't have to get involved anymore. Your input is reduced, and ultimately that's what you need because you want to get better at something in a way where you can spend your time somewhere else, or whatever. Just basically explore, and the best way to do that is to kind of like find something that's sustainable. As a human being, in order for you to survive, you probably need like $300 on a monthly basis for shelter and $200 for food. That's basically it. Maybe electricity as well, but whatever. Let's say there's this minimal budget for you to not die. And if you can create that when it comes to the idea, then ultimately what we're doing is separating, like, okay, so we have to do some marketing, but we're not ready for marketing. But if we're not doing anything concerning marketing, then when we get to marketing, we're going to have to kind of like spend different things towards it. So let's at the very least take a chance and figure out what marketing could be as we're evolving in what we're doing by the time we get ready to marketing. And you have to pick what you need for survival. Like for a company to succeed, that means it needs marketing, for example. It needs a good idea. It needs proper logistical support. It needs a solid financial backing. It needs it needs a business model that allows consumers to want this, to interact with this product, and for them to be able to reach these consumers, right? So like, you can point about 10, 15 things. Once you actually get that, then these are the elements that are required for the survival of this company. Then if you don't do them, it's not going to survive. So you split them and you go like, not by having water right now would probably put me in a situation that will allow me to, like, you don't have water, you'll die in 3-4 days, for example. If you don't have food, you'll die in 15. Priority is water. How would you separate the other things? And then the more you do that, the deeper you kind of like, the more to the surface you bring from the actual smaller things in between the company, in between the lines of the company, in between the in between the nodes of the company. Because ultimately, once we need these to survive, but like we have to prioritize some stuff, and eventually when they're consistent, we don't have to worry about them. We jump to the different things. And then after we're done with needing to survive, what do we need to do? We need to prosper, we need to grow. And then it's different survival tactics. The first part is sorted out, I'm not going to die. Then the second part will basically do the same thing and eventually succeed, and eventually, like every single part requires some form of fundamental planning or fundamental understanding or fundamental responsiveness. Not responses, responsiveness. And I say that because you have to be able to see what your response is to a certain situation in order for you to be able to like look at it and to be able to use what you're getting towards, am I feeling better or worse? Am I screwing myself over or worse? Am I getting closer to the goal or worse? But ultimately, there is no goal. There is like, for me to actually grow, I need to do these things, and if I don't do them, I die. So basically, find a way to do them, find the balance in between them, and then pop, once it's consistent, you choose a different level to engage with. Because your goals could change every fucking day. What you want to do is get to that level, and then that other level. And you basically, there's the comfortable level that all of us want to find. We have to go through certain levels in order for us to be able to handle it. I don't know if people don't agree with me on that one, but anyways, you really have to be able to handle things differently. And the more you move towards anything, this ability to handle things differently is literally what kind of like allows you to expand your reach and bring everything to you. Okay, CSS, right? A personalized approach to websites. I love that I decided to like watch random videos on my spare time instead of actually try to do some work. Bye.